प्रदीप हाँ हाँ प्रदीप टिके गोटे वेबिनार चेयर करछि जस्ट आरंभ करछि आई विल कॉल यू बैक
On behalf of the Central University of Odisha and Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, I welcome you all to the webinar on role of broadcasters during COVID-19. Respected Vice Chancellor Sir, the chief guest of this webinar, respected Mayank Agrawal Sir, Director General Doordarshan, Ministry of INP, respected Professor Akshay Rao Sir, Visiting Professor, Central University of Odisha, respected S.K. Malavia Sir, ADG PIB Odisha Region, respected Ashok Pradhan Sir, the Odisha Bureau Head of Times of India, respected Register Sir, Professor A.K. Das, our visiting Professor Durga Prasad Sir, Professor Palita Sir, my dear colleagues, my dear students, research scholars, and respected dignitaries presented here. I welcome you all on the webinar. Today's topic is very much relevant, that is role of broadcasters during COVID-19. And before I'm starting about the theme, let me introduce our guests. Today, our chief guest is Professor I. Ramabrahman, our Vice Chancellor, Central University of Odisha. He joined during December 19. Before that, he was the Professor of Political Science in University of Hyderabad. He has been involved with many developmental works.
Mayank, are you hearing us?
He has been involved with various policy-making initiatives of the center and state governments, being the man of public policy and research. He has more than 100 quality publications and 3 books to his credit. After joining here, his relentless efforts made a mark in the progress of the university. During the pandemic situation, his dynamic leadership led to the university to successful completion of the teaching learning process through various online modes. Not only the teaching learning process, he also guided the teachers for hosting various online courses, conducting invited lectures and webinars at regular intervals. So, this webinar is the first of its kind from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And presently, we are in the mode of, there is process of, because the pandemic is going to happen with us, live with us. So we are planning to do this in a regular mode. So I welcome Professor I. Ramabrahman sir. Sri Mayank Agrawal is presently Director General of Doordarshan. He joined as Director General during 2018. Before that, he has been in Indian Information Service since more than 30 years. He has been involved with All India Radio, IIMC, Press Information Bureau, and particularly NACO, National AIDS Control, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He is also in the dignitary of the Prime Minister's media delegation for many years, and he is famous for the Red Ribbon Express project in 2007. He is also involved with various serials and projects, including the famous television serial Kyunki Jina Isi Ka Naam Hai, made with UNICEF. I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. Professor Akshay Rao is presently the visiting professor of our Central University of Odisha. He joined during January 2020. Before that, he has been involved with Indian Information Service, being an officer at senior level. Almost 40 years of service he has provided to the government. He has made a mark in the progress of the Indian democracy through 2 important aspects. First, reformation as Director General Election Commission of India. During his period, he led initiative that yielded significant increase in the enrollment and record turnout in all elections. Second, he helped making remarkable developments in the behavioral change communication of the people through Swachh Bharat Abhijan, being the Director General. He initiated the program so effectively that the concept became a Jan Andolan in due course of time. He also led the foundation of India International Institute of Democracy and Election Management, a global initiative towards election management. His acumen is very much helpful in the progress of the university. I welcome Professor Rao sir as the chairman of this session. Sri Malavia is present ADG of Press Information Bureau, based in Patna, but he is in charge of Odisha. He has been also involved with various government projects and the government initiatives. I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. G. Kandal Rao is presently the news head of AIR Vijayawada unit. He has also done his PhD in journalism, mass communication, and more than 15 years as Indian Information Service Officer, as field publicity, tourism sector, and various fields. He has, during the pandemic situation, also he has uh, prepared many programs, which is a record in All India Radio. More than 200 bulletins he has been prepared with other staff. I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. And Mr. Ashok Pradhan has taken charge as Chief of Bureau, Times of India Odisha Unit. Since 2 years he is working, but he has a rich experience of print media, being involved with it, Hindustan Times, Asian Age, Dainik Jagran, and Mail Today. I welcome you, sir, to this webinar.
Thank you.
Now, let me talk about the theme of this seminar project. That topic is the role of broadcasters in during COVID-19, because the pandemic situation is going on. So the role of broadcaster, the media information has been bombarded to the people. Information are there, but which information is correct, which is not, it cannot be decided. The people are very much, they can't know which is particular useful for them and which is fake news, which is useful. So in this regard, the public broadcasting service, All India Radio, Doordarshan, and other services has doing a fantastic job by not only creating information but also creating awareness, health awareness programs. They are relentlessly, continuously working, and Doordarshan, All India Radio, Press Information Bureau, DAVP, and other units, they are relentlessly working on these aspects, particularly Doordarshan and All India Radio. They are trying to create awareness throughout the 24 hours for people. They are not only creating awareness, they are also informing, educating also. So the prime aspect, the three main features of functions of media, that is information, education, and communication, they are all providing all the three. To education also, through Gyanbani, Gyan Darshan, they are providing regular classes to the students, whether primary education, secondary education, or higher education. And in entertainment sector also, during lockdown period, they have provided a fantastic opportunity for the people by airing broadcasting the old serials, the old glories like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Bunyad, and other serials. So, in concluding, we can say that Doordarshan, the public broadcasting service has done a remarkable job. But what are the challenges they are facing during the COVID period? We will hear from the dignitaries, the speakers on this occasion. Now I hand over the session to Professor Akhil Raut, the chairman of this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pradosh. And Vice Chancellor Dr. Ram Brahmam, Chief Speaker Sri Mayank Agrawal, my old friend Mayank, panelists, friends and colleagues. Well, a chairman's job is pretty simple. I have to allocate tasks and relax. That's what I have heard about a chairman, and I'm going to do that. One more webinar. I think the number of webinars during the COVID-19 time have increased in such a manner that it has started yielding diminishing utility. So, but don't be scared. We are going to stick to time, and we are going to add a lot of substance and a lot of meaning to this particular webinar, which is going to be very short. Pradosh is lucky that he spoke before me. Otherwise, we are going to, I have a disproportionate respect for time, and we are looking forward to hearing from people who have been invited to speak. And there should be some important discussion. So far as public service broadcasting is concerned, we would expect from our chief speaker, who is a very distinguished and thoroughbred professional, because I had the privilege, he worked with me for long enough, and also Shailendra and other panelists, I know them very well. And they are so thoroughbred that we are going to get something deeper meaning about the role of public service broadcasting in COVID times. I don't know, we are already 3 months into it, and the role has already been played out by public service broadcasters. We have 900 television channels in this country. 400 of them are news channels, and about 400 say radio channels as well. What specific different thing was expected of them? Because public funds are going into the public channels, are they supposed to show some more accountability? Are we expecting something from them which is different from the other hundreds of television and radio channels and also private media? Is it so? We would like to know from the speakers. I would expect them to give a little bit of historic perspective, and also because what we have heard about public service broadcasting is about ethical standards, about a public cause because it comes from public funding, that salient aspects like inclusiveness, the national concerns, the overall public well-being, have this been a different track which has not been done by others and public service broadcasters have done? Then what are the specifics of that? So we would like to hear from our chief speaker, who is a very distinguished one of the top broadcasters in public service arena in the country. And I have seen how he has lived through broadcasting throughout his life, and also the other panelists, Patterson based. After that, we look forward to have a discussion, very proactive discussion by the faculty colleagues, and also from the students fraternity who have, and professional faculty who have joined. We'd like to give a little extra time to that. And in any case, we would not like to extend this webinar, which have become tiring over a period of time, lot of webinars, more than 1 hour and 15 minutes. And it's I can assure everyone that it's going to be enjoyable and intellectually challenging. I'll conclude. And the panelists, I'll request the 4 panelists when your turn comes. My humble request to you is kindly in your 5 minutes each, kindly dwell on one point which is significant in terms of that has not been spoken by the chief speaker, or one interjection and observation on what the chief speaker has spoken. That will be very interesting. One point which has not come on board, because you have 5 minutes with you. Kindly the 4 panelists, I would like them to not to have a general remark, but to dwell on one specific point from each one of the 4 of you. It could be an observation on the chief speaker, or can be a separate point relating to public service broadcasting. Or when we say public service broadcasting, we cannot ignore what's happening around the world. All India Radio, Doordarshan are not the only public service broadcasters. We have examples. If some speaker draws some comparison with others, it will be nice for all of us to learn. But I cannot commence the proceedings today without inviting our very dynamic, hardworking patron. I don't like the word chief guest. He is our patron. Dr. Ramabrahmam has been an inspiration behind a lot of things that is going around in the university. So in a seminar, he's the patron. So I would like to invite him first for the introductory words. And after that, without a pause, the chief speaker should take over. Thank you very much. And I look forward to a very energetic, engaging, and very substantial webinar in which everyone sticks to time and everyone makes a different and important point very briefly. Thank you very much. And may I invite the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ramabrahmam, please, to have the introductory remarks.
Thank you, Professor Raut. First of all, I have the honor of welcoming the Director General of Doordarshan, yourself, and other distinguished speakers on the panel. On behalf of the university, I thank you for agreeing to address a very significant and very relevant theme these days. I agree that to say, what's the role of public broadcasters in this kind of a situation? Very quickly, let me tell you that I'm a student of public policy and development, in which, long back we read that, there are 4 instrumentalities through which a policy gets implemented. This is through administrative system, political parties, interest and associational groups, and media. In media, the public media is very important there. So we feel that, Doordarshan and All India Radio played a very important role in educating, informing public, disseminating very authentic information, and keeping people in in good mood by variety of programs there. The lockdown, is, in my opinion, is perfectly handled by the national two national agencies, two national broadcasters. So I feel that, say, yes, beyond this, I am still visualizing a role, much better role for them in possibly hearing the stories of many people who came out of this kind of a very difficult situation there. I believe that, say, uh, most of the positivity in the system is due to the Doordarshan and All India Radio with number of interventions and making us available opinions of best doctors in the field, right from All India Institute of Medical Sciences down to district hospitals, the way public are associated with either safeguards or about other aspects is really amazing. I must compliment these two principal broadcasters and then thank Akshay Raut for playing a very important role in arranging this. Sir, thank you. And now I request the principal speaker, chief speaker, Sri Mayank Agarwal ji, to initiate the dialogue. Sri Mayank Agarwal ji, back to Akshay Raut.
Hi, Mayank. Now the floor is yours, Mayank.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Carry on, carry on. Yes.
Right. Good morning and many thanks to Professor I. Rama Brahams, Vice Chancellor of Central University of Odisha. Professor Akshay Raut has been my former boss, my mentor, my colleague. I have learned a lot under his mentorship during my last over 3 decades of service. Distinguished guests, it's really my pleasure to be present before you through this webinar as the chief speaker on this important topic of role of public service broadcaster during COVID-19 crisis. I'm audible? Yeah.
Absolutely. Carry on, carry on.
Sir, when this crisis unfolded, primarily in the first lockdown on 22nd March, and even before that, when the health concerns were rising across the world, I was in Doordarshan News, handling the broadcast of this main news channel of the public broadcaster of this country. You will appreciate that this COVID-19 crisis has brought a radical change in almost all spheres of public and personal life of almost all the people across the world. But as the human beings, they adapt to the changing situations. So the same, in order to effectively respond to this crisis, almost all sectors rapidly readjusted themselves to cater to the different challenges posed by COVID-19. And so the public broadcasters all across the world, they have also been changing, and Indian public broadcaster Prasar Bharati Corporation, that is Doordarshan and All India Radio, also changed a lot. I have a presentation also. I will just take you through that. I'm just trying if you can see that I will go through the slides, and then we will have after that a discussion. Meanwhile, my colleague, he is loading this on the screen. I will just take your feedback if it is visible to you. Otherwise, I will go without presentation. Just a second, please. Hold on. Is it visible, the presentation?
It's coming well, Mayank. Go ahead.
Right.
It's
Yes,
fine
sir.
with everyone.
Yeah. Presentation. Just a second, please. From beginning, yes. Yes. Next slide. You will all agree this was a pandemic combined with infodemic. There was so much of information which was coming to each individual. And this was a single subject continuously occupying major part of the media space. From headlines down to the bottom lines. Even if you go to the sports pages, they will be talking about COVID-19, that the Olympics will be held in time or not. The event will be shifted to the next year. So there was, you see every sphere of life, whether it was sports, whether it was economy, whether it was education, everything was affected by this COVID-19, and it was unprecedented in everyone's life, not only in this country, all across all other countries. The information was so perplexing and meddlesome dimensions it had. Even the medical fraternity didn't know what is the nature of this virus, what is going to be the treatment. So even there was some study that about 30,000 papers were produced in the first 3 months of this year, even in the medical and scientific fraternity, on this single topic, which is something unprecedented. So you just see how the governments the world over responded, by imposing lockdowns, by imposing travel cuts, markets were shut down, offices were closed, educational institutions were closed, and every day the new orders were coming because the governments, they didn't know the future. No, so many models the scientists were coming up with, epidemiologists, they were coming with it, that how this epidemic is going to spread. Economic hardships started, growth started turning negative, and moreover, the fear of disease and death that gripped collective human psyche. I will say collective human psyche, because it's not limited now to the individuals. The world over, the people billions were confined to their homes. People remained glued to the television, computer, and mobile screens. Now the mobile has reached to the villages. You can see in this picture, even this old farmer in a village looking at the mobile. Online searches for coronavirus related news increased significantly. Social media platforms, particularly WhatsApp, were flooded with information and opinions, and many times misinformation, which was circulating in media. Now I'm coming to bit, you all know about Doordarshan and All India Radio, but I am giving you a little reintroduction, I would say. Doordarshan presently has 34 satellite channels. This is the biggest broadcaster of the country. 24 round-the-clock channels, 31 regional news units, which are delivering information in 23 languages. All India Radio has 470 broadcasting centers in the country, programming in 23 languages and 179 dialects, 46 regional news units. So now, this was the responsibility of the public broadcaster to bring the truth to the people. Professor Akshay Rao, he spoke about ethical standards, accountability, presenting truth and fact, objectivity, authenticity, and not to sensationalize. And the public broadcaster has to work amidst all these challenges. The challenge is fake information flowing through particularly social media. People will receive WhatsApp messages because the downloads of WhatsApp so high in this country. and those videos will circulate some correct information, some misinformation, and lot of information for the public is also changing. Like if you recall, now every one of us wear masks. I have removed because my room is sanitized to speak here right now. But if you recall the earlier days of pandemic, the communication was that mask is not necessary. Mask is necessary only for surgeons in the hospitals, but later on the communication changed that wear mask. So the nature of the communication was changing every time. Then social distancing, I would say more the physical distancing. Then wash your hands. So people were confused. There was a lot of misinformation that once the temperatures will go up, the virus will be wiped out. But no, it didn't happen. The infection is as bad, or even now it is increasing, even the temperatures are soaring. So changing, one is correct information. Second is even the correct information, the nature of information that kept on changing. So what the public broadcaster had to do amidst, because many of the, I would now come to print media. Print media more or less maintained the sanctity, at least the national media. But the private channels, private television channels, many of them sensationalized a lot of things. Like our channels from the very beginning started claiming that there has been community spread of virus in this country, though it was not the truth. So the role of the public broadcaster was in this time to reach out with the right. And hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible? There was little disruption.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Please, yeah. Yes. So now we had to address the communication needs in the time of this pandemic, the people's health needs, mental and physical well-being, social and economic issues which the people were facing. They were confined in their homes. They were losing their jobs. Education, CBSE exams midway stalled. Many entrance exams, they were not taking place. Schools, colleges closed. And reaching out to the vulnerable and most vulnerable populations. A lot of things which even we could not foresee, that the people started going back to migrants crisis. They started going back to their hometowns from the big cities that presented a big crisis before the government. So at this time, the public broadcaster had one important role. Was first was reinforcing messages for social, physical distancing, hand washing, and wearing masks. So what we were doing, we were constantly, as a public broadcaster, both Doordarshan and All India Radio, through its entire network. And when I talk about network, I'm not talking about English and Hindi only. I'm talking about all regional languages. So we tailor-made our messages, which we put in all the bulletins, particularly focusing on these three aspects. In the beginning of that was in the beginning of the breakout of the pandemic, and that is continuing till today. Physical distancing, hand washing, wearing masks. Stay home, stay safe. It was very much true in the beginning of the lockdowns when it was total lockdown. So then we brought a lot of celebrity endorsements. And what happened during this time? You all know there was the stigma which came up against those who were working for the people, for mitigating this pandemic, the doctors, the police people, So we put out the programs to address, to challenge the stigma against them. I will come out with the programming which we had done. We immediately introduced a few programs, and one was Doctors Speak. This Doctors Speak program on DD News channel, it is going every day. Professor I. Rama Braham, sir, Vice Chancellor, he had spoken about the experts from AIMS, the doctors and all. So even today, we are getting the best of the medical advice in this program. This is the live program, which we are putting every day from 2 to 3. And it is going on for the last almost 3 months. We put out a program, Corona Warriors. Corona Warriors, the program basically got our medical fraternity, our police, our Air Force personnel, our Air India, which brought the people back from so many countries. So they were fighting against this virus out in the field. But there was a lot of stigma attached, because in Delhi and in some places, doctors were attacked, nurses were attacked. So, and we were not limiting only to them. Even the delivery boy who was delivering at home your essentials. People were locked down at homes and they were ordering online things at home, grocery and all that items. But the delivery boys were also being attacked because people thought they will spread the virus. Then we did programs, DD Dialogue. DD Dialogue was the program which was based on interviews with the top experts of the country, like epidemiologists, AIMS director, the chief principal scientific advisor, and those who know the facts. So this program, DD Dialogue, also continued, and more important, Atmanirbhar Bharat, because government came out with a lot of schemes during this period. That was the scheme Garib Kalyan Yojana, and which was later on subsumed under this entire package of Atmanirbhar Bharat, where the government was providing free ration, money in the accounts, Jandhan accounts, money in the accounts of farmers, free cylinders in the period of lockdown, so that the people's hardships are mitigated. No private channel, I can vouch for this, no private channel presented and the government relief scheme the way Doordarshan and All India Radio through its entire network all across the country presented this scheme. And I tell you that it was not on this only on screen, it was through the social media. About 10,000 bites of the beneficiaries we collected from across the country and we put out on social media, so that people appreciate that the services are being delivered at their doorstep. I come to the ground reports and good news stories. I am privileged to have Sri Akshay Raut ji, who was Director General Doordarshan News in 2014-15, and a person of great innovative mind. He introduced this good news in Doordarshan. And this was a very different model. Why we talk only about negative news? Why don't we talk about good news, inspirational news, which changes people's behavior towards the positive direction? So that is continuing. Thanks, Akshay Sarji. So we collected, so far we have collected around 500 good news stories and ground reports from across the country, people doing a lot of good works. People doing a lot of social service, selfless service in the field. Even we have the stories, a poor chaiwala, whatever he is earning in a day, he is spending educating children in the evening. A rickshaw puller, whatever he is earning, he is giving for charity. There is a beggar, which the Prime Minister also noticed in Punjab. Whatever he is collecting, that earning, he is spending to the poor people. He himself is begging before people, but whatever savings he is doing, he is giving it to the needy people. So, a lot of ground reports, good news stories on the government initiatives. And one more thing which we did was a program we started, Kids Time, involving kids, because in the spare time, the children didn't know what to do at home. Aspects. Yeah. Then we gave priority because the PM addresses, PM came directly on television many times to address the people of this country in the time of this crisis. Then do's and don'ts, what we have to do. And you know, the government was coming out with guidelines on different subjects during lockdowns and now unlock one, like what we should do, what we should not do, open guidelines when the unlock started about how to open the offices, the malls, the markets, how guidelines about travel and all that. And a lot of this communication which comes from the government, it comes in the official terminologies which we use, which we break down in simple terms. Busting myths and fake news. So this was a coordinated effort. A lot of myths about this virus and a lot of fake news was circulating in media. So we were doing regular checks, not only we, other media units of Government of India, particularly Press Information Bureau, that is doing a lot of fact checks, and we as the public broadcaster giving it priority in our bulletins. You will not find these fact checks in any of the private television news channels. Very rarely you will find. Like I have just put up one there, ICMR study plots mid-November there will be a peak, and there was no ICMR study on the issue, surprisingly. So now I will come to, because when we talk about the public broadcasters, so it is not only, you know, it was mentioned in the beginning that we also, what people will do home. So there was an opportunity, there was a lot of demand. Doordarshan reintroduced Ramayana and Mahabharata, that all you know. And now the Doordarshan has started a retro channel, DD Retro, bringing back old soaps. So, healthy entertainment, that was also one of the objectives during this period, and that is continuing. I will little bit come to the. I will just happily share with you the broadcast of this Ramayana serial proved to be a hit for Doordarshan. It became the most viewed program globally, beating the most popular US show Games of Thrones by a record margin. And not only we, a little bit I will touch about the other public broadcasters. BBC provided free TV licenses to every citizen over 75 in the United Kingdom until August 1, 2020 because of this COVID, so that they get information. And I have got from some net research that this is going to cost them 40 million pounds every month. Then Canadian Broadcasting Company and France Televisions have set priorities to broadcast children content with a focus to explain COVID-19 in an accessible way. Then these public broadcasters, they are telecasting a number of educational programs for adults and for children. America's in USA, public service broadcasters like Cap Radio, Connecticut Public, and many more have dedicated campaigns to educate the public about COVID-19. And in India, we have dedicated Doordarshan channels for spreading education during this COVID period. A lot of online education is also there. And through this terrestrial mode also, our channels are providing education in the time of COVID crisis. So this challenge which COVID-19 has thrown to the public broadcaster, we are trying to live up to the occasion, to inform the public with all accountability, the truth, the facts, with all ethical standards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayank. Thank you very much for great illustrations of big public service role that Doordarshan and All India Radio have been playing, and brilliant exposure to what all has happened during the last 3 months in terms of positive broadcasting. Now, I'll request the panelists. Let's start with Mr. Satyendra Malviya. And so, Silas, if you can start with you. We will have one observation each, which should be for a maximum tenure of 5 minutes, and then something different or a point which is an observation on what Mayank has spoken. Let's start with Silas. Thank you very much. Additional Director General, Press Information Bureau, Odisha Region. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, I would say from my heart, bottom of heart, I thanks to the Central University of Odisha, Koraput, to inviting me to this August webinar. And sir, I was not admitting you will be there when you, otherwise I would not have. When the kind of communication is there is no point in attending the seminar. That's what I am feeling now. Only in the evening I came to know that you will be there, and only after that when I gave the consent. Prior, if it had been so many, with all respect to you, sir, and the Honorable Vice Chancellor, I Ram Brahman Sahab, my senior and DG Sri Mayank Agrawal sir, and other panelists like Ashok Pradhan of Times of India, Professor K. Rath, Department of Journalism, University of Odisha, Central University of Odisha. Sir, as you have given me only 5 minutes of time, and again I am telling you, I worked in Doordarshan, public broadcast, 2 years back. Now I am working in Press Information Bureau, which is actually government communication, which is dealing with the government communication. So, sir, I will take a bit of liberty from the chair that I would like to share what the government did during this communication crisis, and also because All India Radio, Doordarshan and Press Information Bureau, all we work in sync. We all shared the data inputs during this COVID crisis, and sir, based on that, I won't take much because we have already limited 5 minutes of time. So when this COVID crisis came into this country and the lockdown was posed, preceded by Janata curfew, what was the challenge we as a government communicator faced? We faced critical decisions are being made at the highest level, at the Prime Minister level, and we are facing that time pressure, shortage of time. It has to be disseminated quickly. And initially what we were facing, there was a mountain of raw data, plethora of data, which Mayank sir has rightly termed infodemic, but it has to be processed, it has to be collected and disseminated to the people. And in India, sir, dissemination of information is a complex thing. It has not only to address 1.3 billion people, but had to chalk out customized, tailor-made communication plan for the state and every section of the society. Because even I am quoting the example, Prime Minister gave that he had addressed the nation in Hindi, but their population, which were not aware of which do not understand Hindi. So communication message of Prime Minister has to be communicated in different dialects, different languages. And sir, we rose to the occasion. Entire government communication setup rose to the occasion. And I am sharing you, sir, right from morning early at 5 and up to 12, all the communication network of the government of India is working. Sending the information, processing the information, DD is doing. DD, I am telling you, DD, what is Doordarshan? Public broadcaster. It is the credibility of the people. People watches so many television, so many news channels, watches everywhere, goes to social media and other platforms. But ultimately, they come to two things. What All India Radio is broadcasting, what Doordarshan is saying, and what PIB really is saying. So, reliability, credibility is the main thing for the Doordarshan. And I think, sir, we have been able to deliver. And it is new word, inclusive communication through Doordarshan, through broadcast and AIR broadcast and PIV. It was an inclusive communication to the people during this COVID crisis. And actually, how we managed, there was, as Mayank sir has pointed out, there was a lot of fake news, rumors circulating in social media and other channels. We created a separate fact-check unit in the PIV. We did fact-check whether this news is right or wrong, and we shared it with public broadcaster. We shared with the other media units also. We gave the rebuttal also of the fake news, so that because during the crisis, what happens? What is the expectation of the citizen? Citizens expect that political leadership, bureaucracy, public institution come to their rescue, mitigate their problems. So they come to us, they came for the right information. So the role of public broadcaster during this COVID crisis has been there, and we played a very, very, very positive role and is still playing, because the COVID crisis is not over. If you example, sir, what happened when the Prime Minister announced the lockdown, I think all of a sudden migrant labor came on the road. So at that time, country was entire machinery, entire political leadership, entire bureaucracy, we are fighting on two fronts. First, COVID crisis, how the information has to flow, how it has to be tackled, and the problem of and so even in district administration, we in Odisha, and also to give shelter to the downtrodden, to the last cell. And in the media, we tried to ask the information, correct information, because public broadcasting is not meant for sensation. We are not here for TRP rating. Our role is here to give authentic, coordinated, customized information to the people, so that if our information reposes faith in the heart and minds of the people, and so that it does not go beyond out of the control. So our role, public broadcaster role, is the pivotal role. That's all what I would like to say, sir. And
yeah, thank you very much, Silas, for giving us the strategic nature of government communication and the more strategic nature of how it has to be passed on to 1.4 billion people and in suitable formats. May I now invite Dr. Kondla Rao to make his brief observations as a panelist.
Namaskaram. Am I audible?
Yeah. Please carry on. You are
Chairman of this beautiful session, Akshay Rautji, Chief Speaker, respected Mayank Agarwalji, Director General Doordarshan, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Odisha, Professor I. Ramabrahmanji, S.K. Laluyaji, Ashok Pradhanji, Pratosh, Head of the Department, Journalism and Mass Communication, and all subject experts, colleagues, and listeners across the globe. I would like to present some of the factors that All India Radio Vijayawada is doing from its capacity. So we are trying to focus on fact-check information, mythbusters, and factual information. When some of the channels are coming forward with fake news and beyond some stories beyond factual information. So we are trying our level best to dismantle the doubts among the listeners, public. I would like to go ahead with some of my PPT slides. With the kind permission of my chair, Akshay Rautji.
Yeah, please carry on. Just make it quick. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Even when we are working with 2 shifts earlier, before in 90 days, now we are working on 3 shifts. In a way, to disseminate and give more and more information. We are giving 3 special bulletins a day with extended time of 5 minutes. Earlier, we used to give 10-minute regional news bulletin. In that place, now we are going ahead, we are airing 15 minutes a regional bulletin. From 10 minutes to 15 minutes. The morning bulletin we air for 2 states, Andhra and Telangana. In the afternoon, 120 bulletin, it goes up to 135 p.m. That means 15 minutes bulletin. And again, in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, there used to be one COVID special bulletin. And again at 5 o'clock, there is one more COVID roundup bulletin. Then in a day, we have disseminated 3 COVID special bulletins and 2 extended regional bulletins of 15 minutes each. That way, I could finish 201 COVID-19 special bulletins as on 19th, yesterday. And again, 171 regional news 10-minute bulletin, 10-minute to 15-minute extended time bulletins till 19th. And I have brought out 20 jingles on all the important information on COVID-19. For example, Mythbusters, handshaking, PM's Saptapadi, Arogya Bharat, whatnot. All we have covered almost all the themes under COVID-19. And at the same time, we have DNLs, district newsletters, every month. For example, from West Godavari district, the correspondent, the PTC sends his report every month, highlighting the developmental activities and what are the important things, political activity taking place from their districts. So I have converted the district newsletters into COVID roundups. So that way, 13 district COVID roundups are being aired in May month. And again, I am doing the same thing in June. For example, as I said, Mythbusters. So I invite experts, subject experts, for example, professor from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Mangalagiri. So we record the voice and we give voice bites in news bulletins or in the form of special programs. For example, Dr. Desham from All India Institute of Medical Sciences.
I'm Dr. Desham, working in
Presents her voice.
Number of corona cases in India as of 5th June 2020 are 2,26,000 with active cases being at 1,10,000. The lockdown is being lifted in our country in a phase-wise manner to regain the economic activity of the country. However, it is to be noted that our country did not reach its peak yet, and in the coming days we are going to witness a large number
Thus,
of cases and
you
we should
give
take
medical expert opinion, psychology expert opinion, healthcare tips, COVID precautions, whatnot, everything. We have brought out at least 20 to 25 jingles on these subjects. So we have been disseminating the information not only from AIR News, but also from radio stations across the state. All India Radio Station Vijayawada, and again All India Radio Station Visakhapatnam. So they air the short-term jingles to the public, and they are more popular now. Even news channels people, they are coming forward, and even they are demanding for this. They want to present or broadcast the same. So this is a although it is a public broadcaster, so we are being at even the private channels. They want to take the bites.
Okay.
And again, we have 8 FM headlines a day. So earlier we used to have 2-minute FM headlines. Now we have extended the bulletin, the FM headline to 3 minutes. Each FM headline goes for 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. There, 90% of the FM headlines we are giving COVID-19 information, either fact check or precaution or the latest information on COVID-19. We are involving subject experts, district collectors, higher officials, scientists, vice chancellors. They are being invited to the studio. Based on the theme, we interview them and we present the voice bites either in news bulletins or in special programs. We are reaching the remotest pocket of tribal people and fishermen folk. We are highlighting mostly COVID-related things from the past 90 days. For example, if there is any psychological issue from the public, we have the subject experts. For example, we invite subject experts like Professor D. Jimuna, Vice Chancellor at Padmavati Mahila University. They have started one counseling center on psychological issues. So we give the toll-free number information in our news bulletins. From there, the calls go to the service center. So from there, the psychologists and subject experts would answer the doubts across the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. This is a highly successful experiment made by Professor Jamuna from Padmavati Mahila University. Let us hear the voice of Srimati
World Health
Jamuna.
Organization and Public Health problem 0400-482-1 symptoms 82-148-222 to redress the psychological health issues from the public. While narrating about the COVID counseling center, Professor Jamuna says,
you get all the information related to the coronavirus symptoms and who are the high-risk group and what should be done, what are the behavioral changes, what are the major psychological problems you come across, and then how can we resolve those psychological problems. Especially for this, we have identified 25 toxic psychologists and we trained them to COVID-19 counseling issues and problems. So these 25 toxic psychologists will be available from morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening. So with one app,
Mr. Rao, if we could,
This is one of the approaches, pragmatic and
Mr. Rao,
realistic approaches.
sorry.
which I am going ahead. Thank you.
If we could wind up the observations a little soon, then we can come back to you again at the question answer.
Sure, sir. So let me present. So these are the information, factual information that we are presenting, and we are making use of the social media as well. In Twitter handle, how we are presenting the facts to the public. Thus, reaching out the listeners, students, unemployed youth, travelers, rights, teachers, doctors, scientists, women, children, tribals, and fishermen by making use of all the experts, subject experts, learners, COVID doctors, and the officials working in COVID mission. So we are making use of them, and we try to make use of their voices to dismantle the doubts in the public on COVID. Fact check information from PIB. We have been making use of the fact check from PIB, and we are giving the information in our regular bulletins and FM headlines. At times, we are making use of Doordarshan inputs also to highlight the problem, to dismantle the doubts among the public. So that way, sir, we are doing the best to deliver the goods at the right time, right place. Thank you very much.
Great. Fantastic. Brilliant personal initiatives to activate the regional newsroom in Vijayawada. We'll hear a complete story from you one other day because you have done a lot. Now,
Thank you, sir. I have some more slides. Next time I will.
Yeah, sure. We will invite now Mr. Ashok Pradhan to have his brief observations. I'm sure that his will be a completely different perspective coming from Bureau Chief Times of India, Bhubaneswar. Yes, Mr. Pradhan. Your brief observations, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rao. Honorable Chairman Sri Rao, Chief Speaker Sri Agarwal, Chief Guest and Vice Chancellor Ram Baramji, my co-panelist Dr. Rao, Mr. Malvia, and Coordinator Dr. Rath. Thanks for having me in this great webinar. To begin with, let me thanking the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication for inviting me. I will be very brief. In fact, before joining this webinar, I was a bit confused because the topic is on role of public broadcasters, and I am from a print media, so you know what I am going to speak. Thanks, Chairman, for making me easier by saying we'll pick observation from what the speaker had said and put our views or our observation on what the chief speaker has said. I will pick from but speaking at the very beginning of his presentation, he spoke about infodemic at the time of pandemic. He was talking about the information overflow. So I will pick from this and will try to make some points. Actually, this pandemic COVID-19 is a time when there is constricted flow of information. I will try to explain how. This is a time when the Epidemic Disease Act is in force. So state has become very, very powerful. There is no free flow of information. Whatever information comes from is from the state. The Epidemic Disease Act itself mentioned that without the prior permission and proper activation of the government authorities, you cannot publish or broadcast any news. So that is a constriction. The second thing is, during COVID, the appetite for news consumption has gone up. Where the appetite has gone up is because news has become all the more useful for the people. In fact, it has become the medicine for people. You know, what to do, what not to do, whether I should do what should I eat, everything. Because there is no clear scientific advice on what should be done. As was being pointed out earlier, the WHO initially said you should wear mask, then they changed it, and then they initially said you should not wear mask, and then there came a point when they said you should wear mask. The information is changing. Scientists are not very sure. People, because of lockdown, have ample time, and the only thing is they are depending on information given by media, TV, print media, and social media. So on the one hand, there is constricted flow of information, and the other hand, there is increased appetite for information. News consumption has gone up very much. So this, I think, is a big challenge for the broadcasters and also all kinds of knowledge, print media, social media. Second thing is, this, I think you people who are also in public media will appreciate that during normal time, even if it is public funded and public media, there is no routine day-to-day interference of the government in the functioning of the media. But this is a time, because the pandemic is there, because the epidemic disease act is there in force. So for everything, we have to look forward to the government. The seeming information overflow is at many times like junk food, junk information. Which are the authentic information, which are the correct one, which are the false one. Distinguishing all these things is all the more challenging for all media outlets. In such a situation, the role of a journalist and media, and particularly broadcast media, is even more delicate to find what is the truth and disseminating the right information. Second thing is not just the epidemic disease act, the risk that the virus brings with it. You will appreciate that during lockdown, the free movement of journalists is also maybe because of the lockdown and because of the implementation of the various provisions of the and laws, and that is one side. The other thing is also fear of the virus, whether one should go near a hospital, COVID patient, many things. That means journalists are not on the ground to the extent they should be on the ground because of the reason, fear of the disease, and also the law of the land. And also, journalism is a profession where you groom journalists, telling them that, unlike in border, for example, if a bullet hits you and if you become a martyr, you tell them that it's probably their professional hazard. So they are supposed to die, kind of thing. But for a journalist, you must live to tell the story. So no story is worth your life. In pandemic time, many journalists are working from home. Even offices are closed. They are working from home, depending on information from sources using technology. They are talking to people. They are accessing social media. They are going through whatever government is feeding them. During time, what the journalist does is they talk to the government, they talk to all stakeholders. So maybe some stakeholders are missing while speaking the story. Having said that, I'm not saying there is no good journalism. Good journalism is not possible during the pandemic. As DD and many public broadcasters are also doing many good programs, highlighting heroes, small town, small thing heroes. Print media are also doing, for example, at Times of India, we ran a series, what we call Lockdown Heroes. When everybody is inside, the man is being his life at risk. The COVID warriors, not just doctors and nurses who are more trained, but the grocery shop owners, the sanitation workers, the newspaper vendor. So everyone who has to work in this pandemic, putting his risk at life, all those things were highlighted. And societies taking extra care of their or security guards, people feeding migrants working on the road. So all those kind of good stories were also highlighted. So what should be done, what should be done, what has been done, this can always be done. But one big observation during this pandemic as a journalist for me is this Epidemic Disease Act of 1897, which is very old, needs to be reviewed now. One must appreciate that, while the Epidemic Disease Act is put in place and is implemented, a big thing that the implementing agencies, the government, they articulate is, it is like a war situation. If it is like a war situation, in a war, there is an enemy who, in all likelihood, may manipulate the information. If two countries are at war, the enemy nation may take advantage of the media space. But in COVID, we know the virus cannot influence the public opinion. The virus is an invisible enemy, but we certainly know this character of the virus, that the virus cannot influence public opinion. So there can be more free flow of information, and the Epidemic Disease Act that was formed long years ago in 1897 should be reviewed, and there can be more access to information. And journalists, one side is fake news coming, fake texts were being talked about. Also, journalists should not be victimized for, while doing a genuine copy, if somebody come without intention some errors, so that should not be passed up as fake news. So these are the challenges, and thank you so much for inviting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pradhan. You brought a very different perspective in this complex world that the journalists face in these times. Now we will go to the most important segments. We do not have much time though, because all of us have consumed a little more than which was allocated. But this part is most vibrant. I would invite question answers from faculty members of the Central University of Odisha, as well as other faculties who are connected very nicely to this webinar. I would request, if it is a question, make it 30 seconds. If it is an observation, make it 1 minute to a maximum of 2 minutes, preferably 1 minute. But if it is a question, definitely 30 seconds. And you can introduce your name, you can mention your name, and tell the name of the person whom you are expecting the answer. Thank you very much. Quickly. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. This is Sujit. Good morning, sir. This is Sujit, and I have a question. I'm a faculty in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, and the observations made by all the speakers and the panelists were quite interesting. And my specific question is to the DG Prasar Bharati, Shri.
Yes.
Sir, first of all, thank you very much for giving us, this wonderful perspective of on all the beautiful work which Doordarshan has been doing out in these trying times. Sir, as I was checking the latest TRP reports of Doordarshan, it is it is indeed a very wonderful moment for Doordarshan, because the revival of programs like Ramayana and Mahabharata has actually increased the TRPs. So in a way, it is not the present programming of Doordarshan which is the success, the reason for the success of Doordarshan in the times of pandemic, but rather the old programs which have been brought forward in these times, which ultimately made Doordarshan, in the number 2 rank of the TRPs. This is the first aspect of my question, sir.
I would rather say for number 1 rank.
Yes, that's a wonderful.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, sir, time and again, one of the major criticisms which has been leveled against the public service broadcaster of India is that, and especially after the formulation of the Prasar Bharati Act of 1997 and all the happenings later on, we have seen that time and again that especially Doordarshan, I'm not concerned about PIB because PIB is the official information disseminator of the government, but especially Doordarshan has become the propaganda machinery of the government, which goes very much against the basic tenets on the principles on which it was founded. Sir, your reactions to these questions. Thank you very much, sir.
No, actually using this word propaganda, this is absolutely incorrect. there are many viewers. You talk to the people. You go towards the evening prime time. You would find it difficult to make it out on many private channels what the debate is all about. Many people are speaking together, very, very excited. And ethics of journalism, if you see, they have been compromised when the anchor becomes part of the discussion. Anchors are not moderator today in many of the private channels. They become part of the discussion. They are actively participating with the opinion making, which is not the, you are the faculty of journalism. That is not something is expected from the anchor. There we receive mails, we receive people's feedback that in the prime time, they love watching Doordarshan, particularly our news night program, 8 to 9 Hindi, 9 to 10 English. That is very highly watched. If people want what has happened throughout the day. And I would be very, very happy to share with you, many of our regional news channels, they are at #1 position now. Even our Odia channel, Odia News, it is doing very well. Our news in Maharashtra, our news in Gujarat, they are in the evening prime slots, they are #1. It's coming up in West Bengal, it's coming up in Assam, it's coming up in Karnataka. So the charge labeled against Doordarshan is propaganda. I deny it because certainly there has to be a channel which presents the fact. Like Prime Minister today is launching Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan. We are showing it from the beginning to end live because it concerns lives of lakhs of millions of migrants who are in distress, who have returned to their villages. But if you go to the private channels right now, even right now, I go back, I just turned because I can watch some 8 channels. Out of that, only one is showing. So somebody has to give the correct information. I tell you one thing, that this is the study that the public service broadcaster, though they may have lower ratings, world over the public service broadcasters generally have lower ratings, including BBC. BBC, which is such a esteemed public service broadcaster world over, in England, in UK, its ratings are lower than the other channels. But the public service broadcasters set a standard benchmark for media quality in every country. Thank you very much.
Yeah, next question, please.
Yeah, I would like to raise a question. I am Professor Durga
Very brief.
Prasad.
Next question, please.
Yeah, I am Professor Durga Prasad. My question is, community radio is an important medium, and how can this university access the services of the community radio? That's #1. Second one is that there is this good news compilation. Can we access that and use them in our classroom for enlightening the students? And they can even use the same in the community outreach.
Mayank, you could answer that, please, if you can.
Okay, the question was, I think, okay, yeah. Yes, I will come to your second question first. This good news compilation, you can go to our website and you will find a lot of good news stories there. They are available if you go to the DD News website also. So if you go to the playlist, there also you will get a number of good news stories, and a lot of those stories are also from Odisha. So you can get those stories. Second, you were talking about the community radio license. So community radio license, an educational institution is within the eligibility condition of getting a community radio license. It would be a great thing. If you have there a community radio station established, you will have to make an application to the Ministry of INB. You go to the Ministry of INB website and you will get the process there.
Yeah, thank you. I think we can move on that side, and JNMC is already working on that, the department, to get a community radio license. I hope with the also support of the Vice Chancellor, we get it sometime soon, and in INB we can pursue. Another question, please?
Dr. Raut, I have a question. Professor Palita.
Yeah. Okay.
Myself, Professor S.K. Palita, Professor and Head Department of Biodiversity. First, I must thank our Vice Chancellor and our Chairman, Dr. Raut, for bringing all the bigwigs of public broadcasters of the country to Central University Forum. Thanks to that. I have one thing that now public, the health practitioners and police are called as COVID warriors. I also feel that since last 3 months, the dimension and focus has changed. Also, we are glued to the Doordarshan, and Doordarshan is can be equal to that COVID warrior. But things are changing very fast, and I have a question to DG Mayank Agrawal, that in the first month, in April to May, we are all glued to the TV because there are 4 slots where people are absorbed with Mahabharata and Ramayana. And we thought that things will go away by June. But now the prediction is that it may raise, the COVID pandemic may raise up to, it may go up to November. What are the plans of public broadcasting system, particularly Doordarshan, to keeping people glued? Because now things are, comments are not capable, things are not controlled. So what are the plan and focus? Things are going out. So this is my question.
No, your question is very broad question. What are the plans of Doordarshan to have the people glued? One thing, like if you that March last week and April, this was almost total lockdown. So people were confined to homes. So that time we had telecast these serials, Ramayana, Mahabharata, because these are the most popular serials. And even now, some of the old serials, because a lot of new generation people, they have only heard about those serials like Bunyad or Surbi and all that. So these serials now we have brought it on DD Retro. The channel's name is DD Retro, RETRO. So you can go there. So that is one, and certainly, so far as the news is concerned, we will be bringing you every day the updates as we are doing. Yes.
Thank you very much. We will go for one last question from the faculties, either Central University, Odisha, or from anywhere. Then we'll go to other stakeholders. One last question from the faculty, if there is one.
Sir, this is Dr. Kakuri Banerjee from Department of Biodiversity. I have 2 basic questions. One is this pandemic phobia has created, I mean, do you think that the customers are back into shopping malls? What is the role of media in bringing back the customers to the shopping mall? Because this after the COVID situation. And the second is, media has never focused on the fishermen community and the link of their marketability which they are facing right now. What is the status right now and the role of media in this? These 2 questions from my side.
Okay, you talked about fishermen community link. So it is not so. There was a scheme for fishermen which was announced in this Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana. That was a 20,000 lakh crore, which was announced by the finance minister of the country. So there was there is a scheme for particularly addressed to fishermen, which was highlighted by the national media. Now I am coming by Doordarshan. I don't think by the private channels. So it was very much highlighted by Doordarshan, and particularly then we had asked the coastal states to further go into and talk about that scheme. Second is you talked about how to bring the customers to the malls.
Yeah. I mean, because it captures a big market. So after this pandemic phobia, I mean, I don't think none of the people will be going to the shopping mall. Actually, so what will be the situation at that time?
You are right. The people are afraid, and as responsible media, I would say we are not something like announcing that the people should come to malls and they should come in large numbers. We are just telling the facts, because in malls also, like I would tell more specifically about Delhi, the malls, the cinema halls are closed. Certain services are open, certain services are not available. Restaurants like. So what we are telling, even if you go to the market, you go for your essential buying. Don't crowd the markets. The first thing. Second is maintain social distancing in the market. You would see a lot of shops, they have made those circles and the people are standing on those circles, and always wear masks, maintain social distancing, and unnecessarily, as a responsible public service broadcaster, and even I think there's any media, we are not calling upon people to go to the malls particularly. Yeah, if it is not essential. Right?
Yeah.
Can
Thanks,
I add
Thanks,
one line to that question? Can I add one line to that question?
Please.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Regarding bringing people to malls, as the Prime Minister has rightly said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." So this is not a time to bring people to malls. One has to balance between life and livelihood. So some livelihood options are getting open, but that doesn't mean it's a time to open malls and allow people for entertainment and cinema. Once the pandemic is over, whenever it gets over, those things can be thought of.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now the floor is open for a brief while. We'll take a maximum of 3 questions from students, research scholars, and outside participants who are media practitioners. Now the time for faculty is over. We will have 3 questions from this segment: research scholars, students, and outside practitioners who are connected. Please, first come, first serve. Yeah. Students.
Mr. Rahul.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, Biren Saab.
Very difficult situation and worldwide. Feel, I mean, you have worked in viewer change communication alone. Do you feel that, I mean, we can't expect social responsibility from the 899 channels in India, but Doordarshan should have played a much bigger role in changing the situation. Thank you.
Oh, looks like this question is addressed to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Biren Saab. Yes. As Mayank has illustrated quite a bit and others have joined in, they have done quite a bit. And these are not easy times. Once in a generation, one comes across a crisis like this. Doordarshan, All India Radio have done a lot. Perhaps they will need to do much more. And we all expect them for a proper behavior change communication, even more scientific and even more elaborate. I'm sure they are doing their little best. The more we now, I mean, you have almost given a clue to my favorite subject. So perhaps I will be unstoppable, but I'll stop. I know that I am the chairman. I have to keep a watch. There is going to be a new different culture if this world is going to survive and grow. There has to be a hygienic temper. There has to be a different culture of living. As Mayank was mentioning, perhaps people go to essentials and non-essentials have to be curbed for some time. There have to be different modes, and for that people have to prepare. I mean, there will be not new normal. There will be new abnormal actually. But that's the way to live, survive, and grow. If we want to have, it's all a question of sustainability. We all have learned during public policy and sustainability lectures how we must also be wise for the future, for our children and for children's children. So it is a very critical time in which we all have to behave in a particular manner. And media has a role, but not all the role. Biren Saab, you and me, and a lot of other sectors have also a lot of roles. Media can catalyze certain amount of behavior change, but it has to be everyone's business, as I call it. That's my phrase, I call it everyone's business. Whether it is corporate, civil society, government in large measure, communities, panchayats, municipality bodies, state governments, and people who are well-meaning academicians all have to join in to bring a behavior change that helps us to overcome the pandemic. Media has a role, public service media has a little larger role, and I'm sure they're trying to do their best.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything from students? Students of the Central University of Odisha or anywhere? Well, I mean, if there are not many questions, let me exercise my little privilege for a few minutes to just summarize a bit of text from this wonderful webinar. If you can switch off, yeah. If just for a few minutes.
बिनार में हूँ 5-7 मिनट बाद आइए 5-7 मिनट
Yeah.
आ जाइए 5 ठीक है ऑलरेडी
Mayank, if you could kindly mute yours. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have been personally enlightened. I have a very selfish proposition when I go for any meeting that I take more, give less. I think today I have done as well the same. We learned from the chief speaker today the dilemma that it's both a time for infodemic and hunger for information, something which was elaborated a little more by the Bureau Chief of Times of India, Mr. Ashok Pradhan. Indeed, it's infodemic time and also hunger for information. They look to be opposing directions, but they're not. We need to reconcile this, prevent the infodemic in a certain way that includes certain malfunctions, certain misuse of the very powerful media, at the same time use its capacity to the maximum to give people what they need. I mean, and the need is not ended. It's going to come more and more, not in weeks, but in months and years. That's my apprehension is. And I'm sure the public service media has to gear up to that. Brilliant officers like Mr. Mayank Agrawal, Shailesh Malviya, they have to rise to the occasion, be more innovative. We saw certain innovative activities from a little regional news unit, which Mr. Rao has done. He has done his innovative, imaginative best to put out certain things within his limited resources, but very impactful. So we would like the whole public service to blossom in a manner in which they protect human life, Jaan bhi. And because the world has to go on, I mean, this virus cannot get us to stop the world. We have heard very nicely from Shailesh Malviya, the head of the Odisha region of PIB, the important role of the government communication. In fact, Mr. Pradhan also admitted that government communication is the whole and soul thing. He was, of course, talking about the predicament of the journalist in these complex times. That predicament is not an easy predicament. In any way, they are vulnerable. They have to be, they are true corona warriors. And I include the public service journalists, also broadcasting journalists in that. So this is a very different timing. And everyone has to set example in their own floor areas, in their own shop floors, like perhaps in Vijayawada, Mr. Rao has done. So today we get, many times public service broadcasting and government communication has been the favorite whipping boy because they're funded by the public, because there is someone who is like government, they're identified with the government to some extent. But one needs to see public service broadcasting with certain empathy, with the difficulty in which they are operating at this point of time, and the way they are able to transact their business in extremely challenging time. And I do have my empathy for that. I'm sure others do have. That doesn't mean that the private media doesn't have. In fact, private media perhaps is facing with all this, coming down of the circulation, pages shrinking, staff not being there, editorial staff, instead of 10, they have 2 at the desk. So it's a very challenging time even for survival of the private media. At least government media to some extent are protected. The public service media in regard to their funds, because someone is there to back up. The public is funding them. But for private media, it's even more challenging time. Advertisement shrinking, pages shrinking, staff not being there. So I think overall, all of us are facing a challenging time. We learned quite a bit today. And it's, I think someone was telling, I think Mayank was telling this, we also have a responsibility to bring some type of stability among a very upset group of population. There is mental anxiety. There is instability in terms of livelihood. There are people migrating here and there. Everyone is trying, the government, the public service institution trying. But we, the media, particularly the public service media, have a responsibility to calm the nerves, to settle people into their lives and livelihoods. So I think these are a few things which we learned. But I think in the coming days, if we have a great patron in the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rama Brahmam, if the encouragements are available, we'll go deep into the subject as weeks and months come. Maybe as Central University Odisha will nexus ourselves in a positive sense with media, particularly with Doordarshan News, and with All India Radio News as well. I'll tell Ira Joshi, who is the Principal Director General there, and we'll work together in a collaborative mode so that we bring people not only the information communication that they need, but also to take up small projects in which we are able to balance the people's life on an even scale. I think that's my takeaway. And on behalf of the Central University of Odisha, that's the takeaway of a lot of us. And we are very happy, Mayank, and also other panelists to spare time in such a critical time. And today their big program announcements. I'm leaving this. There is a formal thanksgiving from one of my wonderful colleagues, but I stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Saurabh, I think Saurabh has to give a thanksgiving or something. Saurabh has to give a thanksgiving, or what is the coordinator doing? Pradosh, is it Saurabh who has to do a thanksgiving or something? Is Saurabh there? Assistant Professor Saurabh Gupta?
Yes, sir. Should I start?
Yeah, please. That's yours is the concluding. Then we disperse to our own activities. Please.
Right. So it has been a wonderful session, enlightening, rejuvenating, especially during the troubled times of COVID-19, especially when the private media, the mindset of the common people, and the government itself, they are in a botheration with the public broadcaster of our country. When the reports of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and TRAI seem to write off the public broadcaster of India, the budgets cut down, the Indian Information Service examination and appointment stalled, suddenly we have the COVID-19 and the Doordarshan and AIR spring back to life. When there is infodemic everywhere, false information, misinformation, disinformation, they are jeopardizing the public life. Suddenly, Doordarshan and AIR are the last resort of the common people of India. When there are absolutely trash serials and programmings going on in the private television and radio industry, Ramayana and Mahabharata seems to reinforce the lost values of Indian moral society. Although questions remain regarding the TRP, regarding the policies of the government, and regarding the autonomy on which a lot of public money and time and energy have been already spent. But today's webinar is a futuristic webinar. It might well become a major turning point in the revival and acquiring of a new dimension by the public broadcaster of India. It might well become the stepping corner of a long-standing relationship between the public broadcaster and the Central University of Odisha. We would really love the public broadcaster of India to open up its huge repertoire of resources for us to do meaningful research. I would like to thank Shri Mayank Agarwal, Director General Doordarshan, for letting us know the challenges, the sensitive portrayal of the problems of the people through Doordarshan. It was wonderful to see how Doordarshan has sensitively and poignantly pointed out the challenges and programmed accordingly. Sir, I hope that in the coming days, Doordarshan will really prove to be a very, very big friend of the people, kyunki Jeena isi ka naam hai. I would like to thank Shri Satyendra Malviya, the head of the PIB in Odisha, and he has been managing his organization. And why not? Because he is an expert in media management trained at Thomson Foundation, Cardiff. Sir, you have told us about the value of objectivity. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. G. Kondala Rao, who has presented and published 8 academic papers. So it was a thoroughly academic deliberation. And sir, it was wonderful to hear the interviews, the radio spots and the jingles which AIR Vijayawada has done under your leadership. We look forward to many more. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Sri Ashok Pradhan, the Chief of Bureau of Times of India in Bhubaneswar, the odd man out in the panel. When the entire webinar room was looking like IIS Bureau, he has very politely but very firmly put forward that the government has not been able to disseminate clear-cut information, and it has been challenging also on the part of the private media to carry out its responsibility as a responsible journalism. I would like to thank the Office of the Registrar and the Public Relation Officer of the Central University of Odisha for supporting the program. I would like to thank Professor Sharat Kumar Palita and Professor P. Durga Prasad for their august presence and valuable inputs. I would like to, I don't know whether I should thank him, but I should congratulate him, Professor Akshay Raut, for his passionate organization of this program. And this is a historic event because this is the first ever webinar in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And sir, your passionate involvement has inspired all of us. And the way you have conducted this program is also very, very praiseworthy. Thank you, sir. I would be failing in my duties if I do not thank Dr. Pradosh Kumar Rath, who has been tirelessly coordinating this program on behalf of the department. Thank you, sir, for your involvement. I thank the faculty members, research scholars, and the students of the Journalism and Mass Communication Department and the other departments of the Central University of Odisha, the non-teaching staff of the Central University of Odisha, and last but not the least, our dynamic and ever-encouraging Vice Chancellor, Professor I. Rama Brahman, for his support and encouragement towards this program. Thank you to Shri Viren Das and to all others outside the CEO community for getting involved in this program. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.